Hello friends, welcome to Learning Physics again. We have been learning motion in a straight line or rectilinear motion. In the past two sessions, we have understood the concept of average and instantaneous velocity as well as average and instantaneous acceleration. In this session, we are going to understand how to derive the kinematic equations for uniformly accelerated motion. I'm sure you have used these equations in your ninth class. They are there in front of you. V is equal to V0 plus AT. X is equal to X0 plus V0t plus half AT square. And third equation, V square is equal to V0 square plus 2A into bracket X minus X0. We will derive these equations by the graphical method as well as by the method of calculus. For uniformly accelerated motion, we can derive some simple equations that we just now saw, which relate the displacement x, the time taken t, the initial velocity v0, the final velocity at any instant v, and the acceleration a. We have already obtained an equation that gives a relation between final velocity v, the initial velocity v0 of an object moving with an uniform acceleration a. And we know this relation as v is equal to v0 plus at. This relation is graphically represented in the figure here. The area under this curve is the area between instants of time 0 and t. And the area below the curve AB or below the graph AB consists of two portions, area of triangle ABC and area of rectangle OACD. Now what is the area of triangle ABC? Half into base. What is base? V0 minus V. And what is the other side? T. So it is half base into altitude. That is half into V minus V0 into T. What is the area of this rectangle? Length into breadth. What is the length? T minus 0, that is T. And what is the breadth? V0 minus 0, V0. So the area is V0T. In the last session, we discussed that the area under the VT curve, velocity time curve, represents the displacement of an object. Therefore, the displacement x of this object, I can write x as the area, what we saw, half into V minus V0 into T plus V0 T. But we know by definition, rate of change of velocity is acceleration. So V minus V0 is equal to AT. I can substitute this value for V minus V0. So I get x equal to half, and in place of V minus V0, I got AT multiplied by t, I get AT square plus V0 t. Or in general, I can call it as x is equal to V0 t plus half AT square. This is the second kinematic equation. As we are considering cases of only uniform acceleration, we can consider the average velocity over an interval as the average of initial and final velocities. So I can say the average velocity v bar is equal to final velocity plus initial velocity divided by 2, assuming that the acceleration is uniform. Now we can express the displacement x in terms of the average velocity. How? I can say displacement x is equal to v bar average velocity over the time period over which this average velocity is there. So v bar is v plus v0 by 2 into t. The first equation that we derived was v is equal to v naught plus at. By rearranging this equation, I can get t equal to v minus v naught by a. We can substitute this value of t in the equation x is equal to v plus v0 by 2 into t. If we do that, I have got x equal to v plus v0 by 2, which is already here, and the value of t, v minus v0 by a. Now, v plus v0 into v minus v0 is v square minus v0 square, and in the denominator I have 2a. By rearranging this equation, I get v square is equal to v naught square plus 2ax. This third equation, which we have just derived, we can also derive it in another way by substituting the value of t. What is the value of t? V minus v0 by a in this equation. The second equation, x is equal to v0t plus half at square. I'm sure you will be able to do this on your own. So you can do it in your own time as a homework. Now we have obtained three important equations. The first kinematic equation is v is equal to v0 plus at. The second is x is equal to v naught t plus half at square. And the third kinematic equation is v square is equal to v0 square plus 2ax. Now these equations connect five quantities: initial velocity v naught, the velocity at any instant v, the acceleration a, the time t, and the displacement or the position at any time x. Now these are kinematic equations of rectilinear motion for a constant acceleration. While deriving these equations, we assume that at time t equal to 0, the position of the particle x is also 0. But this may not be so always. If the position of the object at time t equal to 0 is not 0, say it is some value x0, then these equations would be of a more general form, like this. Here I don't have x, so it remains v equal to v naught plus at. The second equation, since the initial position is x0 at t equal to 0, the general form is x is equal to x0 plus v0t plus half at square. The third equation, v square is equal to v0 square plus 2a. Instead of simply x, we have now x minus x0, where x0 is the position of the object at t equal to 0. We will now derive these kinematic equations for constant acceleration using the method of calculus. We have already studied that instantaneous acceleration a is equal to dv by dt, derivative of velocity with respect to time t. Now I can write this as dv is equal to a dt. I can integrate both sides. So I have got integral dv within the limits v naught initial velocity to final velocity v, and on the right hand side integral of a dt between initial time 0 and the final time t. If I integrate this, what is the integral of dv? Integral of dv is v. So if I take it between these limits, I have got v minus v0. Now a is constant, uniform acceleration. So I have taken it out of the integral. and integral dt between limit 0 and t. What is the integral dt? T. So I simply have v minus v0 is equal to a, constant acceleration, into t. Here even if I take the limits t minus 0, that is t again. So v minus v0 is equal to at. I can write this in the form that we remember very easily. V is equal to v0 plus at. We also know that the instantaneous velocity v is equal to dx by dt, derivative of x with respect to time t. Now, I can write that as dx is equal to v dt. Now, integrate both sides. I get integral of dx between limits x0 and x is equal to integral of v dt between limits 0 times 0 and time t. Again, what is the integral of dx? X. And if I take these limits, I get on the left hand side x minus x0. And on the right hand side, I have got integral 0 to t. Now, in place of v, I can write v0 plus at. So I have written here v0 plus at dt. Now I can split this interval into two parts. Integral v0 dt between limit 0 and t plus integral at dt between limits 0 and t. So I have got on the left hand side x minus x0. Now integral v0 is constant and integral dt is t. So I have got v0t. And the second part, a is constant, so that comes out. And what is integral of t? Integral of t dt is t square by 2. So I got half at square. Now if I rearrange it, I have x is equal to x0 plus v0t plus half at square. Let us again recall the instantaneous acceleration, which is a equal to dv by dt, derivative of v with respect to time t. Now I can write this equation as a equal to dv by dt as I can write a equal to dv by dx into dx by dt. And what is dx by dt? Dx by dt is v, velocity. So I can write it as v into dv by dx. So I have got a is equal to v dv by dx. I can rearrange it as v dv is equal to a dx. I can integrate both sides. So I got integral of dv between limits v0 and v on the left hand side equal to integral of a dx between limits x0 and x. Now, what is the integral v dv? Integral v dv is v square by 2. So if I put the limits, it is v square by 2 minus v square by 2, which I can write as v square minus v square by 2. And what is the integral on the right side here? A is constant, uniform acceleration, so I take it out. And what is integral dx? Integral dx is x, and between limits it is simply x minus x0. So I have here a into bracket x minus x0. If I rearrange this equation, I get v square is equal to v0 square plus 2a into x minus x0. The advantage of this method is that it can be used for motion with non-uniform acceleration also. We will apply these equations to solve a few problems now. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity of 20 meters per second from the top of a multi-storied building. This is a multi-storied building here. The height of the point from where the ball is thrown is 25 meters above the ground. I take the acceleration due to gravity as 10 meters per second square. Now the question, how high will the ball rise? When will the ball hit the ground? So let us solve it one by one. Let us call this upward axis as the y-axis, positive in the upward direction and negative in the downward direction. V0, the initial velocity with which the ball was thrown, is 20 meters per second. Since it is in the upward direction, we take it as plus 20 meters per second. Acceleration due to gravity, it is minus g because the acceleration is working in the downward direction. So it is minus 10 meters per second square. The final velocity, the ball starts from here, it keeps going up and at some point it doesn't go anymore. So the final velocity at the top is 0 meters per second. Let the ball rise to a height y above the building and let the top of the building be y0. We have the equation v square is equal to v0 square plus 2a into y minus y0. When we derived these equations, I had used the term x square is equal to x naught square plus 2a into x minus x0. But since I have called this axis as y, I have replaced the x in that equation by the term y. Now let us put these numbers here. The final velocity at the top is 0. Initial velocity is 20 square plus 2. And what is the acceleration due to gravity? Minus 10 into bracket y minus y0. If I solve this, I get y minus y0 is equal to 20 meters. So from the top of the building to the topmost position of the ball is 20 meters. The ball rises 20 meters above the building. So if the building is 25 meters above the ground, I can say the ball rises 45 meters above the ground. Now I can calculate the time taken by the ball to hit the ground by two methods. First method. In the first method, I split this path, time taken by the ball to go from A to B, and then I calculate the time taken by the ball to come from B to C. I call this time as T1 and the second time as T2. The velocity at B when the ball reached B is 0. Therefore, we have V is equal to V naught plus AT. What is the final velocity here? 0. So 0 is equal to initial velocity 20 minus, because the acceleration is minus 10, into T1. So if I solve this, I get T1 as 2 seconds. So the time taken by the ball from A to B, T1 is 2 seconds. Now, the ball from B to the ground C falls freely under gravity. So I can apply the second equation, y is equal to y naught plus v0 t plus half at square. This is that equation x is equal to x naught plus x naught t plus half at square. I have replaced the term x by y because we have taken the y-axis here. Now y naught, the topmost position is 45 meters. Y, the bottom on the ground, is 0. V naught, it starts from B with 0 velocity. So 0, acceleration is minus 10 meters per second square. If I put these values, the final position on the ground is 0. Initial position when it started was 45. So y naught is 45. And V0t, what is V0? 0. So I have got 0 here plus half into acceleration minus 10 and t2 square. What is t2? T2 is the time from B to C. So if I calculate it, I get t2 as 3 seconds. So the total time is t1 plus t2, that is equal to 2 plus 3, that is equal to 5 seconds. Now let us see the second method. The total time can be calculated by noting the coordinates of the initial and final position with respect to the chosen origin. And what is the equation we are going to use? We are going to use the second kinematic equation. Y is equal to y naught plus v0 t plus half at square. Now, what is y naught? It started from the coordinate y naught was 25 meters. What is y? Y at the ground is 0, the final position. What is v0 naught? It started from this position, v naught, 20 meters per second. What is the acceleration due to gravity? In this whole process, whether the ball is going up or down, acceleration due to gravity is in the downward direction, so minus 10 meters per second square. So let us put these values in this equation. The final position y, that is 0, so I put 0. Initial position 25, so y naught is 25. Initial velocity 20 meters per second, so 20 into time t plus half into acceleration minus 10 into t square. If I simplify this equation, I get a quadratic equation 5t square minus 20t minus 25 is equal to 0. I am sure you can solve this, and if you do, you will get time t is equal to 5 seconds. Now, in this second method, we don't have to worry about the path of the motion, as the motion is under constant acceleration. So it's a shorter and simpler method. Have you understood all that we have tried to learn today? Good. If that is the case, try and discuss this with your friend and try to solve a few examples on your own. I hope you enjoyed this session. I'm looking forward to meet you again the next time. Thank you and all the best.